Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Apple Store, Soho. How are we doing tonight? There we go. It's the adequate amount of energy for the event that I was looking for. Thank you. Are you ready for our guests? Are you guys ready? You sure? Ladies and gentlemen, make them feel welcome here to talk about her new book, available now in the iBook store, Unbearable Lightness, a story of loss and gain. Portia De Rossi and this evening's guest moderator, Whoopi Goldberg.
Hi.
Hello. So, this is a very nice group of people out here. Y'all look good. You're not wearing too much perfume or anything. You look good. So, this book is amazing, and I want to get right into it because if you haven't read it and you haven't picked it up, you will want to after this because it's honest, it's brutally honest. And I'll tell you that I got it, and the first 10 pages totally freaked me out. Can you explain to them why it would have freaked me out?
The first 10 pages recounts an incident that happened to me where I woke up this one day, which was similar to any other day in that I panicked because I couldn't remember what I ate the night before. Every day I would wake up to this question, like, did I screw up? What did I do? And on this particular day, I remembered that I'd eaten 6 ounces of yogurt, which was 4 ounces too many, and that was considered a binge. And I just went into complete tailspin and ended up sobbing and thinking that my life was over. And I think that it was so typical and so routine that this would happen, like once a week almost. And I think it kind of sets the tone for the rest of the book.
Yeah.
That's just what you live with when you suffer from a disorder like anorexia.
So now, we'll take it from the very beginning. How long did you suffer from anorexia?
Actually, comparatively to other women, not very long. I was under 100 pounds for probably a year and a half, 82 pounds being my lowest. But I had suffered from all kinds of disordered eating since I was about 12 years old, from about 12 to 30.
Right. And at the time, there wasn't any real discussion about the fact that there was something odd about the way you were treating your body with food.
I had never thought of anything that I was doing as abnormal until I became very afraid of food. I mean, I literally it would consume my every thought. And I became very, very frightened of food, in particular olive oil. Just oil of any kind would terrify me. And that's the other thing about this book, too, that I really wanted to convey. It seems crazy from this perspective, but when you're actually in that anorexic mind, when you're living it, it is so logical. It's just a progression from a regular diet that we've all been on into this disorder that is life-threatening and truly horrible. But it feels like you're doing the right thing at the time. It feels like you're working out, 10 minutes longer and just using 10 calories less of whatever food. And it feels like the right thing to do for a long time.
So if you can, because I don't know if people really sort of understand what anorexia is and why so many women are afflicted with it. What did you see when you looked in the mirror? What did your mind tell you were seeing?
Well, I know that there's a very kind of common image where the sick girl looks in a mirror and sees a very heavy person reflected back at her. But I never really saw that.
Right.
I just saw the inch of fat on my stomach, the inch of fat on my thighs.
Right.
And I saw very skinny arms. So I don't know whether I was dysmorphic.
Right.
I thought that I pretty much saw what I looked like. I had very, very thin, emaciated-looking arms.
Right.
My rib cage stuck out. The bones in my back were really protruding and very ugly. But I still had fat thighs. That's the thing.
So it's one. So it becomes the one thing that doesn't look like everything else.
Right. And we've probably all got that one thing that we hate on our bodies.
Well,
we kind of always go to that thing and go, look at that. What am I going to do about that?
Well, fortunately, mine's behind me, so I can never see it.
That is a good thing.
Yes.
But that's kind of how it gets you, because I knew that I was underweight, but I still hadn't solved the problem.
Right. So now you're in Hollywood. You get this amazing job.
Yeah.
And do you find yourself in the midst of other people who understand what you're going through?
That's one way to put it.
Yes. Yeah. I'm trying to be, diplomatic.
Actually, and I'm not being diplomatic. I'm being completely honest with this. I would be naive to say that it didn't affect me, because obviously I knew that there were girls on Ally McBeal that were also dieting. What I didn't really understand at the time was that they were underweight, because I just thought in order to be professional, I had to lose that 10 pounds that the camera supposedly
puts on.
adds.
Right.
So I thought that I didn't know how to be a celebrity. I didn't know what to do. I thought, if I want to keep my job, I have to look a certain way. So I looked to them, and I just figured if they had a nutritionist, I'd get one. If they worked out during lunch, I'd do the same thing.
Right.
So it was more, it was more a crash course in becoming a celebrity than wanting to. We never talked about it. None of us.
Nobody ever said.
No, nobody ever talked about anything other than the fact that everyone, including the men, was dieting on that show, and that's it. Of course, I read the tabloids.
Right.
But you've also got to remember, it was a very weird time, too.
Right.
It was 1998, 99, and actresses were supposed to fill the shoes of the supermodels. That whole era had just ended.
Yeah.
Actresses were on the covers of magazines, and actresses were getting beauty campaigns. And so, as you kind of think that your job is to act, play characters.
Right.
But really it became who can fit into a sample-sized dress. It really did at that time. And I think it really did shift at that point, too, because of the tabloid media. It was an explosion.
Right.
So it was all eyes on us. We were expected to be supermodel beautiful.
Right.
And we weren't. And it was a lot of pressure.
Right. Now, on top of this thing that you are now doing to your body, you're trying to figure out your sexuality. And
that was a bummer.
The complications, you have this wonderful brother who lives with you.
Where are you?